Hello, my name is Emma Claire Kimbrough, and I'm a Springboarder with Girl Spring. Today I'm here with Miss Avani Patel, co-owner of Avani Rupa Fine Jewelers. We're so excited to get to learn more about you today.
Absolutely.
To talk to you. So could you start by telling us a little bit about yourself?
I definitely can. First, just want to say thank you for having me. I'm really excited to have this conversation today and for you to ask some questions and for us just to talk back and forth. It's something that I really love and am interested in, being a female entrepreneur, and that gets into what I do. So yes, I'm an entrepreneur, I'm a jewelry designer, and I am a GIA graduate gemologist, and I am also an accountant by trade. So it's a really unique combination, which I love, and it makes it really fun because I have my accounting background and I have mixed that with my love of art, jewelry design, to establish and to grow this business. We're a mother-daughter business, so my awesome entrepreneur mother started it almost 30 years ago. So she's the second part of the business, Rupa. I'm the first part, Avani Patel. And I joined her a little over 10 years ago. I can't believe it, time has flown. And we specialize in custom designed, one-of-a-kind pieces. Being a GIA graduate gemologist, I can source diamonds, gemstones of all different kinds. I can also design and render up designs, which we can talk about more, the technicality of what I do and stuff. For clients. And so my theory with the jewelry store that I have here is that I am here to curate the fine jewelry collection for our clients. So I really want to make sure that we're sitting together and curating a collection that is something that our owners of the pieces will wear for now and forever, and 50 years and 100 years from now, and they become heirloom pieces. So that's kind of the gist of our business and what I do and the passion that I have in life right now.
So have you always wanted to go into this career?
So that's funny. So no. So we are, by background, we're Indian. My family immigrated from India and in the 70s. And my parents got married, they moved here, and they had us. I was born and raised. I was born in Philadelphia and moved here when I was 1. So I've lived in Alabama my whole life, specifically Birmingham. All through like high school, well, more like middle school, I was pretty sure, I was like, well, I'm gonna be a doctor because my dad's a doctor, my brother was going on the path to being a doctor, and like everybody in our family is in the medical field. Mm-hmm. And so I went to Vestavia Hills High School and I took all the AP courses that were science related. So like back then there was not as much as there is now, but I took the psychology and the biology and the chemistry, and I was like, yeah, definitely I'm gonna go in the medical field. Then my awesome mom, she started this business while I was like in middle school. So I always like dabbled in the summer, and after school I would help her. It's pretty much her intern, so I could help her with everything and get things kind of going in my brain. And I was like, well, I didn't fall in love with jewelry at first. I think I fell in love with the fact of my mom owning her own business. I just loved seeing her in charge and like getting to put her ideas out there and come up with everything for herself. I just felt like she owned it and she got to do what she wanted to do every day. Mm-hmm. And she was so happy doing it. And that was the thing. My parents have always raised me to be that, hey, when you pick a career, make sure it's not just a job. Make sure it's a career that you really love. Of course, you want to be able to be successful in it monetarily, but you also you want to be happy going to work every day.
That's really good advice for someone who has no clue, for people who don't know what they want to do.
Absolutely. And that was like a piece of advice my parents gave me, and I'm so blessed for that. Mm-hmm. The reason I was pushing to be medical, I wasn't pushed into it or anything like that, which a lot of people of Indian descent are. Thankfully, my parents were not like that. That was just what was familiar to me, is a good word to say. Mm-hmm. And when my mom did something different, that's really what made me realize, like I could do something unfamiliar and it would be okay. So around 12th grade, when I knew, in my senior year, I knew I was going to Birmingham Southern. I'd gotten my scholarship secured. I had filed as a biology major. But then when I went to sign up for classes and everything, I just switched to business because I was like, well, I know I want to do something in business, even if it's not jewelry. Right. And then I did switch to accounting because I was really good at it, and I love accounting, and I love math, and I love problems. And I just was like, this is better for me than business because I still got a business minor. So that was more like a technicality change I did. And I'm so glad I did, because switching to that major has just really helped me solidify the fact that I can run the business and I can run it successfully because I know how to run the books and do the financials, which is a huge part of owning your business. Because you can have the raw talent, which the raw talent is me designing, talking to people, selling my jewelry, selling me, selling what I do as a designer, which I love doing. But then if you don't have the background of the business and the accounting and the finance, it's kind of like, oh, well, how do you put it all together?
Right.
So yeah, I thought I wanted to be a doctor, and here I am, jewelry designer, accountant by trade, and I absolutely love it, and business owner.
So are there any hardships that you've had to face being a business owner and like running your own business, or any just hardships or anything that you've had to deal with?
Absolutely. Like anything in life, there's always points where you're like, oh man, what am I doing?
Right.
But then you bounce back. Definitely the hardships have been figuring out what makes me happy, because 32-year-old Avni, myself, and 22-year-old Avni, myself, are very different. And I started working full-time in the jewelry industry at this retail at 23. So I was very young. I graduated college early, so I did start working a little younger than a lot of people that I know. And things kind of changed. And the hardship for me is I'm not great with change. Mm-hmm. I am very, like I said before, I have a plan, and I like that plan to be that plan. I like that plan to stay the same. And it's just reminding myself that, hey, plans change for a good reason. We grow, we change. And if our happiness is not like this, it goes a little like this. Life is not linear.
Right.
And that's okay. And so that's been the biggest hardship for me. But also out of that hardship, the biggest reward and the biggest career happiness, because it's made me realize that I can continue to do what I love, and it's okay if I have to make pivots on the way. Mm-hmm. And every time I make a pivot, knock on wood, it has led to more success. So in my head, I think, okay, was that first year of pivot and hardship really hard? Because change is really hard for me. Yes. But the payoff has always just been exponential and so worth it. So I feel like everybody's hardship is different, and we have to learn to recognize it and compartmentalize it and put it in our head like, hey, I know change is hard for me, but sometimes I just have to do it. And that push is not just internally. It needs to be somebody who supports you. In my life, it's my mother, who's my business partner, and also my spouse, who is like integral in our life and what we do. And he always pushes me, hey, if you're not happy, we can make a change. Let's move things. Let's change the business plan. Let's get you into doing something different. And also having a great mentor. I have an awesome mentor. His name's Sanjay Singh. He's really well known around the community here. He's an uncle to me, and he has always been super inspirational to me to be involved, to get involved in the community, and to make sure that the business moves just like you are as a person. So it's like we all shift, we all grow, so business grows too.
So what's the best piece of advice you've ever gotten from anyone in your career or just in life?
Yeah. So it's kind of, I think the best piece of advice I've gotten is from my mother, who the advice was given to her by her father. So it's technically my grandfather, but he wasn't able to give it to me himself because he passed away when I was young, and he wasn't giving me career advice when I was like 8. So, and so the big advice that he's always given her, which she in turn has given me, is that if you put your mind to anything, you can do it. If you see a wall and you want to walk through it, if you put your mind to it, you can walk through that wall. And that type of advice is exactly what people need, especially young women, especially young women, because we're told time and time again that we're women or we're girls and we do things a certain way ever since we're little. We're told to be careful. We're told not to run too fast. We might skin our knees. We're told at the playground, well, I don't know if you can climb that or if you're strong enough, right? But when you're given that type of advice from a young age, and my mom has always taught me that from a young age because of her father, that no, if you want to do it, you can do it. Figure out a way to do it. If you want to do it, I'm here for you. I'll support you. That's what makes risky women who go out there, take big risks, and take big success. So it seems like a very small piece of advice, but eventually it leads to very, very successful entrepreneurial women who are strong-minded, who are strong-willed, who are confident, and who are just so intelligent and smart that they know that if they want to accomplish something, they will have a will to do it, and they will find a way to do it. So that's something that has resonated with me, because if I want something to happen and I want to do it and I feel passionate enough about it, whether it be something in the community that I love, whether it be my career, whether it be my family, whether it would be just me personally growing, or for example, being part of Girl Spring. And I love being a sponsor with you guys and love being able to be a part of everything I do with you because I'm so passionate about it. I can do it. It sounds like a lot, and life is a lot. But if we put our head to it, we just, find a way to do it, and we find a way to be successful and happy and love who we are and what we do.
Thank you so much for talking with us today. I've had so much fun, and I know our viewers have probably learned so much. You can learn more about Avani Rupa and their fine jewelry collections at avnirupa.com.